Welcome to Mind Shift Power Podcast, a show for teenagers and the adults who work with them, where we have raw and honest conversations. I'm your host, Fatima Bey, the Mind Shifter. And welcome, everyone. Today we have with us Janaya. You've heard her before. She is featured on episode 2 and 5, a couple other episodes, but this is a follow-up for episode 2, which is called Real Change. That episode will be linked in the podcast description. I highly recommend that you listen to that episode first so that this one makes more sense and you can hear her progress. You can hear the changes. And we're in true Fatima fashion. We are going to be raw and honest about victories and failures and all of it. So something you're going to, I believe that every single listener you either see yourself in this episode or see someone you know in some of the things she's going to say today. So regardless of your age, I want you to listen. And I also want to let you know, Janaya is in her dorm room. So unfortunately, you may hear some small background noises, door slamming in the hallway. She's in her dorm room, can't help it. And I do have editing technology here, but I don't have Hollywood editing. So it is what it is. You might hear some noise in the background. I'll do the best I can to minimize it, but it might be there. All right. So I am so freaking excited to do this episode. I could not wait to do it. So her episode aired about a year ago, a little over a year ago. Right now, this is October of 2024, and the first episode aired in August of 2023. So when Janaya, on the last episode, Janaya was 17. She is now 18 and soon going to be 19. Oh, she's grown up. And in the last episode, we talked about Janaya's journey from feeling low about herself with no hope for her future, which is where she was when I met her, to deciding that she was going to go to college and eventually become a family lawyer. So back then, we were talking about ideas. And now let's hear her progress. How are you doing, Janaya? Good. So I guess I gave away the answer to this already. Are you in college now?
Yes.
Yay, she's in college. So how was the college application process? Like, how was it, the journey to getting to college?
It was like hell, straight hell.
Tell us why.
Well, it was hell because my GPA was not good. So It was really hard for me to get into college. So when I found the college that I'm at now, they end up waitlisting me because my GPA didn't meet their standards. So they had to send it off to the HEOP program. Mm-hmm. And the HEOP program had to make a decision on whether I can have a chance to go to the school.
Yes. And because I've been with Janaya this entire time and helping to walk her through a lot of things, the first college that she really, really wanted to get into, they rejected you, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
And you were very sad about that.
I was very, very sad. But you did have some concerns because it was a huge school and I was very fascinated on, oh my God, the school looks so fun. It's a lot of people and parties. And then you was like, I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes. Do you think, now you and I already had this conversation, but for the audience's sake, do you think it was a good thing that they rejected you?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, I am actually very grateful because I learn better in smaller classrooms, and I need extra support. And if I was to go to the other school I wanted to go to, I would have been doing really, really bad. I am struggling in college, but I would have been doing 1,000 times worse in that college. I think it'll be to a point where I would have probably dropped out if I would have went to that college.
I think you're probably right. I think it would have been overwhelming. I'm glad that they rejected you. I know it didn't feel good, and but you still kept hope alive, and you kept going, and you kept applying, and
because I take that as that's God's protection, and he wants me to go to another direction. So rejection, that's God's protection. So he's saying,
you just heard it from an 18-year-old girl. Yes. Sometimes rejection is God's protection. You are, you mentioned it earlier. So what program are you in, that accepted you into the college?
HEOP stands for Higher Education Opportunities Program. Yep.
And has this program been good for you?
It has been very, very good to me. Yeah. Couldn't thank them enough.
I had mentioned it in a previous episode, another episode where we were talking about colleges. For the audience listening, HEOP is the Higher Education Opportunity Program, and it is an amazing program available here in New York State. I don't know. There are other programs like it in other states. I don't know what they're all called. They all go by different names, and it's not in every state either. Similar programs, I should say. And then you have the EOP, which is the same program, but it's a state version. I highly recommend it if you're in New York State to try to get into it if you can. If you get the opportunity to get into it, try, because they are amazing, not just with financial aid, but the amount of support that they give students is pretty strong. So are you in a public or private college, Janaya?
I am in a private.
And what's the biggest difference between those two?
Private schools is very expensive.
Yes.
So
the biggest difference is thousands of dollars. I will tell you guys from my perspective, and Janaya will just confirm this. When she was, seeking out her colleges, I was actually wanted her to go to a state school, because I know that it's cheaper. And you're likely to get more financial aid because you have less to pay. And I didn't want her to come out of college with, $30 billion in debt like everybody else does. So I was really encouraging her to go for state schools. I wasn't even looking at the private schools. But it turns out this private school was so much of a better deal for her than any of those state schools. You remember those conversations, Janaya?
Yes. You wanted me to go to a state college, like a community college. Mm-hmm. Her whole plan was for me to go to a community college where I can get that academic support, because community college, they do tend to give you a lot of support, mm-hmm. and prepare you for a 4-year school, and it'll be more cheaper when you graduate. But I guess that wasn't the plan.
And I'm glad it didn't work out, because I think where you are right now is so much better than any of those other places. You still could have done it, but just the support that you have at this particular school is really good. So I'm very grateful that you're in it. Now, let me ask you, because again, this is kind of an update and taking a journey through Janaya's progress and struggles and ups and downs. So were you nervous about your college interview?
Yes, I was. Yes and no. I was between.
Okay, so tell us what you mean.
The reason why I would say yes, because I was nervous, is because I was competing with other people. The reason why I wasn't nervous is because the HEOP wanted to know who you are to see if you will be a good candidate for the program. And I was confident about that because I know myself very well. So I'm like, okay, this is no pressure.
What was your college essay about?
My college essay was a personal narrative about me and the journey I went from nothing to some rock to diamond.
It was. The reason why I'm mentioning that, audience, for you, those of you listening, especially if you're, if you're going to college soon, you're a junior or senior in college and you got to write your college essay, don't write the standard 1, 2, 3. The more personal you make it, and genuine, like really, really genuine, the more it'll stand out. The cookie cutter ones, they see 1 million of those a day. They don't stand out. Tell them, during your interview, what did they say to you that made you really feel like it went well and you stood out to them?
So the HEOP team is 4 people. So all 4 of them interviewed me, and all 4 of them asked me different questions. So it was different things they was really impressed about me. One of them asked me, how do I feel about when I'm struggling? Do I ask for help? And how do I ask for help? And how do I feel when I receive help? Like, what do I do when I receive help? Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to remember the way you worded it to me.
Yes. So I told them, I was like, Miss Bay, when she helping me finding out who I am, I could have chose to like not listen to her. I could have chose to not take her advice and her tips, but I did, and I kept going to her. That's why I am the way I am today because of her, or I give her my credit. And I told them every time I struggle really, really bad, I always ask for help. And that stood out to one of them, because they're like, you know what? Because there's a lot of people that struggles and they just decide to stay where they're at. So
yes.
I like that about you. And one of the other, this was actually, she's the HEOP assistant. What stood out to her was she realized she liked that I realized that I had value and because she told me that that's what is the HOP is about, because a lot of you guys, went through you guys high school struggles, and we want you guys to know, like, listen, you guys have value, you can do it. So yeah,
I want to interject there and kind of go back to something. I'm talking to the audience right now that Janaya said. What she didn't mention is when she was nervous about her college interview, she gave me a call first, right? Like a few days before, she's like, I'm really nervous. It was like on a Sunday and the interview was Tuesday or something like that. And she's like, I'm really nervous. Oh my God. And what I want to point out and reiterate the point that she just said, the good thing is that she did reach out to someone, whether it was me or someone else. She reached out to someone when she was feeling nervous, didn't know how to get unnervous or how to really properly prepare. Instead of just sitting there and being nervous and holding it in, she might not have done as well at the interview if she didn't have me to like coach her a few days beforehand and get her to feel more comfortable. I didn't tell her what to say. Not one time did I tell her what to say. I just coached her into being mentally prepared to do it for herself. And, it's important that you ask for help. You might not have a Miss Bay. You might have an Uncle Joe. You might have somebody at your church. You might have somebody at school. It is really so important that you ask for help when you're feeling nervous, when you have those moments. Find someone you can trust and ask for that help. It really can matter and make a difference. That person can really make a difference in your life if you let them. And the key thing is, she really could have ignored everything I said. She could have just like, I know everything. I don't need to listen to you. She could have done all that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have even got into that college if it wasn't for Miss Bay, because she was teaching me how to learn myself and to learn who I am. And if it wasn't for her, I would have been a lost soul. So.
And thank you, Janaya. But I want your audience to know that I do not have magical powers. There are others around you who might be just like me who can help you. So
yes.
It's so important that you reach out for help. This whole episode just excites me. So now you were nervous for your interviews, but let's move on to law school. So obviously you're not in law school yet because you're only a freshman in college right now. Mm-hmm. And when I last talked to you, it was before you began your senior year in high school. So the particular school that you're in has a program that can fast track you to a particular law school, which is so perfect because it's something that we had talked about, prior to that. And that's really what she wanted. And lo and behold, she was able to get into a school because not all schools have that. And so she's in the perfect place to do exactly what, she originally was trying to do. Now, let me talk about college finances, because that's something that we should talk about because I want other people to hear. How many loans did you have to take out? Well, first of all, it's a private school. Private schools usually cost at least $35,000 a year, but most of the time it's between $35,000 and $60,000 a year. That's on average. I am pulling those numbers off of my memory. But it depends on the state that you're in. Those numbers can all be different. But when it comes to private colleges, they are a lot. So how many loans did you have to take out, Janaya?
Due to the HEOP program, one.
That's amazing because most people have to take out several. And how much is that loan, or roughly how much was that one loan?
It's only around $3,000. It's in that range.
I want you guys listening. I'm giving you these details because I want you to be encouraged. That can be you too, no matter what state you're in. is it like 96% of your tuition is paid for? Outside of the
Yes.
loan, or some percentage around there, because we're not looking at her paperwork right now, but somewhere around 96% of her college is paid for. That means 96% of her first year in college is paid for. She does not have to pay it back. Grants and tuition assistance and all kinds of different things. So it does not all coming from one source, but I want you all to know that that can be you too. You do not have to take out $50 billion in loans, and $3,000 is a lot when you're a college student, but it's not a lot when you look at the overall value of what you're getting, but the overall, cost of tuition. She can literally pay that back before she even goes to law school if she wants to, or if she wants to pay it back within the first year after college, she can. That's not a lot. It's not going to keep her in debt for years, like $10,000 or $15,000 or the other amounts that a lot of people pay for. Right, Janaya?
Yes.
So I'm so excited about that. Now let's talk about another topic that I think people need to hear from you, because you're not alone in this. Has college been a challenge?
Yes, it has.
So let's talk about just a couple of the ways that it has been a challenge.
So in college, you're more independent. That's what I'm struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also struggling with one of my professors. Because when you're in high school, if you don't work too well with the teacher, you can just get them switched easily. In college, it's not an easy process. You can get your professor to switch, but it's not gonna look too nice if you do that. It will affect you. Withdrawals
on your transcript.
On my transcript, it's not gonna look too nice. So yeah, it's hard.
And for all of you listening, if you are in high school and you're looking to go to college, you're going to get professors that suck, period, end, whether you like it or not. Some of them will be amazing and really good teachers. But unfortunately, everybody who's a professor does not have the gift of teaching. They have a whole bunch of knowledge and some paperwork behind their name. That doesn't mean that they're good teachers. So no matter what school you go to, what topic it is, you are going to have to navigate around bad teachers. That is a fact. I'm just preparing you now. It makes it harder, but yeah, high school, they're too lenient sometimes.
In high school, you can navigate around bad teachers. You can just go to your guidance counselor, your principal, like, listen, I don't want to teach you no more. I don't work. Switch you just like that. You have a new teacher the next day. College, oh no, it don't slide. You can, but it's not going to look good.
Right. So I wanted all of you to hear that. Tell me about what was this summer like? Explain to the audience what you had to do this summer and what that was like.
So due to the HEOP program, since I have like a low GPA, they took us for the summertime to prepare us for the fall semester, and we had to get our credits up. And I'm not going to lie, it was straight hell. Mm-hmm. It benefited me. It did. It had some good things happen in the program. The reason why I say it was hell is because the HEOP program, we was doing 15 weeks of work, and they squished it into 5 weeks. The HEOP used to be 15 weeks long, but decided to cut it to 5 weeks. And that was a lot. I feel like I was always busy. I didn't really have no personal time, and it was very overwhelming for me. So I was ready. I'm not going to lie. I was ready to quit. I called Ms. Bay every day crying, saying, listen, I don't want to do this anymore. I am ready to leave. I even told my high school guidance counselor, and my high school guidance counselor, she's very close to me as well. We have a strong relationship. She's one of the reasons why I also got into the college. Yeah, she basically said hey, I have a girl, Janaya. Her application is coming, so can you keep an eye out on that, and that. And after that, that's when she sent it to the HEOP office, because she couldn't accept me because I didn't. My GPA didn't meet the standards.
I want to backtrack for a second and mention something. Last year, one of the things I told Janaya was I specifically basically gave her an assignment to find and really get to know her guidance counselor. Before you go into college this year, get to know your guidance counselor, because that will be your best friend. They know more than I do, and they can help you with the stuff I don't know. It is, and my point in mentioning that, it is very important that we get to know the people that can help us get to the next level. Who sometimes it really isn't what you know and it is who you know. And I don't mean kiss people's butt and be fake. Okay. Let me make that clear. That is not what she did at all. And I don't want you doing that either. It is okay to befriend people and network with people who are going to help you get to the next level. That's a beautiful thing. In fact, it's smart. So for you out there, I want you to take that lesson away from just that little piece of, if you're in high school, make friends with your guidance counselor or somebody who's more familiar with where you're going, whether it's college or another area. That's so important to do. I'm sorry, I decided to add that in there. So how do you feel you have grown within this past year? Are you the same Janaya you were at the last interview?
No.
Okay. Why? Has college helped to increase or decrease your confidence? Honest answer.
College decreased my confidence.
Okay.
I feel like college humbled me, because before, in the last interview, I was very excited. I was going into my senior year, going into college, and my next goal would be getting my bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
But, easier said than done. And I didn't realize that at first. I'm just saying, I'm going to be majoring psychology. I'm going to be doing this and that. And it's going to be easier for me because I'm interested in that. And it is completely the opposite. And it's actually not, it's college. And don't get me wrong, college, it's fun, but you have to take classes that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And the major that you are interested in, especially when you are a freshman, don't say that you're majoring in business or child education, nursing, whatever, or any major. When you are a freshman in college, you're doing the basics, and the basic stuff it's not fun. It's not fun. Maybe when
You're right.
when you're in your junior and senior year, that's where it gets fun. When you're it's like going to a water park, or you're going somewhere fun. Sitting in a car ride, it's not fun, but you have to do it. But then when you're getting out the car, because you're at the destination, walking there and then actually being there, now it's fun. So you just have to wait.
So you said that it reduced your confidence. And I know, because we've had these conversations, academically, it has really, really, really challenged you in ways that high school did not. And probably should have. High school should have challenged you more, but it didn't.
Yes.
So that makes you feel kind of stupid sometimes.
Yes.
Am I right? Now,
Yes.
Are you stupid?
I am not stupid.
Okay, so you haven't lost your confidence completely.
No, but I know I'm not I'm stupid. I can't do it.
Okay,
I'll figure it out.
What I hear is that it's challenging, but it makes you feel like maybe, oh my God, can I do this? But at the end of the day, what I also hear in your voice is hope.
Yes.
For the end game. Hope. Am I correct? Am I putting words in your mouth? Am I right?
Yes.
Hope for the end game. And I want the audience to hear that, because this is the reality of what growth looks like, y'all. Growth isn't perfect. You don't go from A to Z overnight. That does not work, and it is not true. You're going to have moments of challenging. You're going to have moments of doubt. You're going to have moments where you want to throw in the freaking towel. But are you going to throw in the towel?
No, I'm not going to throw the towel.
As you guys can hear, she has her doubts sometimes. And I'll tell you, this summer, it was a challenge, because she's not lying when she said she called me every day. And it was after one conversation, she goes, Miss Bay, you're a coach.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's what I've been doing this whole time, duh. But she doesn't think of me in that terms of that title. But sometimes, she needed that encouragement, and it really was hard for her. And she was literally trying her absolute best. And I can say with 100% certainty, she was not playing around. She wasn't hanging out with friends and joking and drinking and doing all that stuff. She wasn't running around with boys. She was literally focused and trying her hardest. But that's also why she's there now. If she hadn't done that, she would have failed right out.
So,
are you partying now, or are you focused, or a little bit of both?
I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not been to no parties. I haven't. I have not. Not yet. I haven't done it. I will. I have been sociable.
Listen, y'all,
Um,
sometimes I have had to tell Janaya, you need to make sure you make more friends because Janaya is perfectly happy sitting in a room and studying.
I
I'm glad
am.
it's beautiful that she's that way. But I also want to see her be balanced. And all for all of you out there, some of you the opposite of her, you rather party and not study, but you're not going to get anywhere doing that.
Yeah,
You need to have balance.
I haven't been to no parties yet. I have been sociable with my friends. Yeah, so
Which is good.
there's nothing wrong
Uh
with partying.
no, you should have some fun because if you don't, then you end up exploding later because you didn't get your angst out, you know? And how do you feel about your future right now?
How I feel about my future is I still want to advocate for children. That has
Mm-hmm.
not changed and it will not change.
Mm-hmm.
Something that has changed is how I'm going to get there because
Okay, let's
I'm
talk about
at,
that.
because as y'all can see, previous podcast, I said I will major in psychology. I changed that. I'm actually majoring in criminal justice. I don't like it. I'm actually thinking about majoring in sociology.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I don't know which path I'm gonna take, but I'm gonna get there somehow.
Right. The thing I want to add for the listeners is she wants to be a family attorney. And the reason she wants to be a family attorney is to be able to advocate for children the way she wished someone had advocated for her. And she did talk about that in episode 2, in the last episode. But we have talked about, because she's been messaging me all the time about this, we've talked about the different ways in which she can still do that. Family lawyer is just one way. There are other avenues that still require schooling and still going to keep her where she is and she's still going to move forward that she can pursue first before becoming a lawyer or become a lawyer and then do these other things. So, do you mind if I tell the audience the other thing you're considering?
Yes.
So is it called juvenile
Probation officer?
There you go, probation officer. We talked about so many different titles, so forgive me, audience. Juvenile probation officer, and she can still do that, and she could still be a family attorney too.
Yes.
What's your eventual goal? Tell the audience what is your eventual goal after being a family attorney?
Oh, my actual main goal is to be a family judge.
A family court judge.
Yes, family court judge. I
personally think that if she becomes I do think she would make a good juvenile probation officer because she'd be real with the teens and relate to them. But also they wouldn't be able to run all over her, and I think that's a perfect combination. But if you combine that with being a lawyer, I think that's excellent combination of different perspectives before becoming a judge. Now, that's just my personal opinion. But the good thing is that Janaya has options. She does not even have to decide that this year. She can decide next year what she's going to do. But what I like about what I see from Janaya, and again, I'm talking to you as the audience, what I like about what I see from Janaya is she is very much focused on deciding what her bigger picture is in the future. Which way do I want to go to get there? She's not waiting for a shoe to drop or a rock to fall on her. She is planning. And if you are in that stage, it is okay if you haven't figured it out yet. If you're listening, you're in high school or you're in the first year of college and you've made your decision, but you're like, I don't know, maybe I might want to go this way. It is okay for you to figure that out. There's nothing wrong with you. It, in fact, is very normal. The people who are in denial about it are the abnormal ones, not you. So I just want to point that out. So if we do another follow-up episode after this, we'll see what she has decided, because what she's deciding is what to narrow it down to. Her overall goal is still the same, but like she said, there's different paths she can take to get there. And she's been kind of up and down and talking to me about it and still hasn't made a final decision. And that's okay. It's her first year. It's her first semester as a freshman. So it's good that she's thinking that, but it's okay that she hasn't fully decided that. She hasn't changed the end game, but still deciding how to get there. And that is, so wonderful. So what advice, Janaya, do you have for the teens who are in high school right now?
The teens, my advice is please be mindful on what you do in every grade, because every grade counts and it will affect you later. It will affect you later towards the end. Another thing is, please, if you are a teen that is in their junior or senior year in high school but planning on going to college, I please ask you guys to please appreciate these teachers now, because you're not going to get that same support in college. Another thing is, please be involved in a lot of things, because that's also very important. Because me looking back at my high school, I'm in college. I be thinking about my 4 years of high school, and I'm like, I really wasn't really involved in a lot of things, and you really don't want that. You don't want to have a bland 4 years of high school.
Very good advice. And the advice she's given you is conversations that she's already had with me. But she didn't know who she was until just, the end of her junior year, which is when she met me. And, I started coaching her, and she started to realize that she had value and started giving effort. All of that took place at the end of her junior year. So she was able to get into the good college, really good college that she's in now, and move forward, even though she didn't do that great the first 3 years. And I'm saying that because as an audience, if you're in high school, take her advice to heed, please. Do the best you can from where you can't stop the past. You can't change the past. Yes. But you can start today and make a difference and care about your future. And just understand that you matter enough to care about your future.
And
Janaya
please
started making, go ahead.
Surround yourself around good peers, because surrounding yourself around people that's not going anywhere, don't have any goals, don't care about anything, people that feels like they have nothing to lose, don't hang around those people like that. Because if you're hanging around with people that have nothing to lose, you're going to end up having nothing to lose, and you're not going to go anywhere like that. And who you hang around is who you become. If you can't really find anyone that's really on the same boat as you, it's okay to be alone. Yeah, it's boring sometimes, but you gotta do what you have to do to be successful. And that's how I was in high school. I felt like I couldn't relate to, towards in my senior year, senior year, I started to get more serious about things. And when I started to mature, I couldn't really find people like me. And I just felt like all alone and by myself, because the way how I was maturing. And college is different. Now I'm with people that's like me now.
You said a whole lot right there. And for adults listening, I want you to know you can apply that same principle to your own life. Who are you around? Where are they going? People with no goals, no go nowhere. Okay. And you want to be careful who you're hanging around and take your future serious. Well, Janaya, I want to say publicly, I am so proud of you. There's so many more conversations we've had that we don't have time to put on the air today. But watching you grow has been a beautiful experience. Watching you become who you're going to become and watching you go from who you were to who you are has been so fulfilling for me. And I love it. And I can't wait to see your future.
Me too.
And now for a mind-shifting moment. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Today, I would like for you to participate in Janaya's journey to accomplishment. I would like for you to send her a message of wisdom or encouragement. If you look at the podcast description, right at the very top, it says send a text message. If you click on that, you can send a text message, and I will forward it directly to Janaya so that you too can participate in watching someone become. Thank you for listening to Mindshift Power Podcast. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Mindshifter. If you have any comments, topic suggestions, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit fatimabay.com/podcast. Remember, there's power in shifting your thinking. Tune in for next week.